Okay, so we're going to be breaking down a series of games between Ian and DBZ, Grizzly1 DBZ. It was 4 games, and it came out 2-2 in the end on his Twitch. And I made some notes. I've gone through and made some notes on the 4 games. And hopefully this can be a way for people to sort of watch a real high-level game and see what's going on here. This is not meant to disparage or to criticize anyone, just sort of trying to break down what's going on. Because obviously you see a lot more when you're a third party just having a look, and obviously when you play back your own game, it's nice, you see a lot more than in the moment you get really focused in on what you're doing, and it's hard to notice what's going on. So hopefully this will be interesting. We've got game 1 here on Hills of War, and I'll just jump through, just scrub through a little bit. Okay, so he spawns west, and he's gone south to an area where he knows there's scrap.
Where's the power?
So let it play out.
Moving out. Getting power. Building. Building complete. Construction started. Scabbing. Building complete. Ready to build.
And he's going to move, after the silo, he's going to move to the south,
Set to follow.
which is a good move. It's a good start. It's a good setup.
Complete. I'm on it. Ready
One thing I did notice is there was he forgot to place a nav in his spawn, which is not a horrendous mistake, but it's not ideal. You want a nav in your spawn so you can send things there, so you can kind of watch it, see what's going on there. You can remember where it is as well, crucially. So it's not a huge problem, but it's something I noticed. Also, he didn't put a nav here either. There was no nav here, which I guess is just in the moment you sometimes forget them.
Getting power.
But yeah, you should be placing them
Where's the power?
at waypoints to get around the map, because if you need to go there, you have to actually drive back, which takes time.
Building. Building complete. Construction started.
So the startup's pretty good.
Following. Building.
What Ian's going to do now, Ian is Grizzly1 in case you're not sure, he's going to take this constructor
Scavenger
into
here.
the canyons
I'm on it. Building complete.
and put a silo just where the scrap is there to the south.
Recycler here. Construction started. Construction rig here. Yes, sir. Building complete. Ready to move. Building. Scavenger here.
He recycles his factory and remakes it for more pilots,
Recycler.
and he's put that scav and follow on the constructor, which is 2 good moves, 2 good things to do.
Following.
The scav following the constructor is going to be ready to collect at the silo as soon as it's up,
Construction started.
so you can just listen for the constructor
Going to geyser.
and in order to scavenge once the silo is made. The factory recycle, obviously right now there's not really a need to have units just yet, so he can sort of boost that pilot count.
Construction started.
He's going to get his SPs, good move.
Armory here. Building supplies. Weapon deployed. Armory here. Building supplies. Weapon deployed.
And the one thing I
Recycler here.
am not really a fan of with this start is right now Ian is not really doing anything. He's not really scanning the map. He's not really applying any pressure. It is quite important to be harassing your opponent at the start, like at least working out where he is, and then maybe destroying scavs, a silo, a constructor, anything really to kind of disrupt his plans. It's not absolutely necessary, but I think it's really you need to be doing it. I think it's better to be doing it than not to, because nobody likes their startup being messed with. It's really pretty annoying, especially when you lose a silo that you've placed quite far away. But yeah, it's not 100% needed, but I think it's pretty important.
You're the boss. In transit.
So he's got his dual SPs. He's combat ready
Unit factory
now.
here. Building complete. Building underway. Getting scrap. I'm on it. Getting scrap. I'm on it.
And on the radar, you're gonna see that Div has gone
Unit complete.
to mid,
Ready to build. Following. Scavenger here.
which actually means that
Unit factory here.
Division gets majority scrap on the map, which is not
Supplies.
ideal.
Weapon deployed. Armory here. Building supplies.
Grizzly1's upgrading his
Weapon
units.
deployed. Turret deployed.
Dual tag on the Wolverine,
Unit factory
dual
here.
SP on the
Building
Grizzly.
underway. Who's next?
And at this moment in time, Division is taking more scrap than him, which is
Armory here.
yeah, it's something that he could have prevented, but it's not a huge problem.
Armory here.
You can still absolutely win with less scrap than the other player.
Deployed.
It's all about controlling it.
Rolling.
Okay, so he's going to bring his construct scrap now to get the scrap
Armory here.
that's on his side of
Building
mid.
supplies. Weapon
Units
deployed.
upgraded.
Armory here. Building supplies. Weapon deployed. Armory here.
Silo coming
Building
up.
supplies. Weapon deployed. Construction rig here. Following. Unit factory here. Building underway. Construction rig here. Yes, sir. Building. Unit complete.
So yeah, at this point, I think the only mistake really is he's handed over too much of the map to Division. Division has like 70% of the map under his control. He has the north, the west, mid, and he could take northeast as well, the scrap in the northeast canyons, which is a lot of scrap that Grizzly 1 has kind of chosen not to go for. So that kind of just swings the odds in Division's favour already. He's already at an advantage now. All he has to do is just sort of sit tight and see what Ian does.
Building underway. Building complete. Unit complete.
The Division's getting nice and snugly in mid.
Yes, sir. Building.
Ian's getting his post ready.
Getting scrap. I'm on it.
This is what you want to do. So when you know that your opponent is playing mid, you want to sort of get halfway between your base and his base and then set up some kind of
Who's next?
a position. So silo barracks, supply maybe.
Protecting the flock.
Scouts on the scrap, good. Get them working it as soon as possible because at this moment Division could come in and attack. So you want to get that scrap in before it's at risk.
Building.
There he is. He's already got an army.
Unit factory here.
So the game's officially entered into like the mid stage now. Early stage is over pretty much now. All the options to prepare are done, and now it's time to fight.
Guarding. Building complete.
Let's check I'm actually recording.
Unit complete.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Imagine if I forgot to
No can
turn that
do.
on. Jesus.
Building.
Okay. What is that on my screen? Okay, I don't really care. Right.
Unit factory here.
Going for some gun towers.
Building underway.
Not a bad choice, but obviously
Complete.
very easy to howitzer.
Following. Following. Ready to build. Yes, sir.
And you'll notice he's only playing with one power on the two gun towers, which is not ideal, but in this game it didn't actually cause much of a problem. APC drops. He secures the kill on the APC. Scrap close to him, and the soldiers die pretty quick, so that's well played. That scrap that the APC dropped is obviously it's in a good enough position now where Grizzly can take that, so that's handing over scrap there. But
Building complete.
Div uses that as a means to come around the other side and try to get Ian when he's distracted, which is a good play, but he's just slightly out of time there. The APC dies a little too quick, and Ian is in position to hold him off. Gun tower's doing work.
Armory here.
Pod
Building
drops,
supplies.
good.
Ammo deployed. Ready to build. Building
Supply
supplies.
coming up. Scav's on a leash there, so you rewind that if it will let me.
Armory here.
He's got his scavs on the silo,
Supplies. Ammo deployed.
so he's got them leashed up. And this is also really important. You don't want to let your scavs just continue to collect. There's scrap there where the APC died, and if Ian's scavs go there now, they could probably die. So you can just hold them back for now.
Ready to build. Building
As long
supplies.
as Division's not recovering it, you don't need to do anything just yet.
Building supplies. Repair deployed.
Scav out of nowhere,
Yes, sir.
distracting.
Building. Scavenger here. I'm on it.
Some good shooting there. Just get a unit, bring his numbers down.
Unit lost.
Building complete.
And around about now, you'd hope to see some howitzers. Division does bring his forward very soon. You would kind of hope that Ian was bringing his up eventually. Like around about now, would be a good time to start making them and bringing them forward, just so they're ready.
Armory
because you will see soon that the howitzer actually plays quite a key role in how the situation plays out.
Building supplies.
Replacing the gun
Deployed.
tower,
Unit
not a bad
factory here.
choice.
Building underway. Ready to build. Yes, sir. No can do.
Doesn't matter too much if you lose a scav or two. But if you, as you see now, Division's AI is distracted, so Ian gets a great opportunity to come in and do some damage. Gets tagged by his own rocket tank with tag, which yeah, easy.
Building complete.
Now, Division silo is pretty close. So right now, if it was me, I'd immediately turn to that silo and destroy it, just like as a priority.
Lost.
That's a pretty close silo build, and yeah, indeed he does. Good. Very nice there, very nice. So he's playing it right now pretty well. Minimal losses. Division's taking quite a few. Getting on the pods now.
Building supplies.
Very good.
Prepare deployed. Ready to build. Building supplies.
He's gonna up his defense. There we go. Actually does a 2 powers there. That's good.
Building supplies.
That's good.
Prepare deployed. Ready to build. Building supplies. Ammo deployed.
Crisis isn't enjoying the
Ready
match.
to build. Yes, sir.
Howie's coming in now.
No can do. Building. Scavenger here. I'm on it. Scavenger here.
So in a minute's time,
Base
Building
under
supplies.
attack.
things start to get a bit spicy. Coming up
Ready to
soon.
build. Building supplies. Repair deployed. Ready to build.
Unit
Building
lost.
supplies.
DBZ's applying a lot of pressure with Howie's. He's recovered his units now. He's got an army again. So it's still very much 50-50. But around sort of now and in the next minute or two, you're going to see how things start to kind of slip away for Ian, and hopefully I can sort of point out what's sort of why that's happened.
Supplies. Ammo deployed. Ready to build. Building supplies. Repair deployed. Guarding friendly. Building complete.
So thump
Ready
to keep him
build.
back.
Yes, sir. Building. Yes, sir. Engaging. I'm on it. In combat.
Again, still no howitzers yet for Ian. He needs to get those up.
Offensive unit.
I think there might be one back there, but it's there's not enough just yet.
Building complete.
Good push, some good kills.
Tower lost.
Howie's crippling him from behind.
Warning.
Good shooting.
Damage critical.
Needs to finish it. I like that. That's really nice what he did there. So because Division's moving to the side, he's going to come up from behind that hill, so he's sort of firing at the TLI, target lead indicator, to like preemptively hit, and he does actually land at least one shot, so that's good. That should have been an eject, but unlucky. This is funny. I thought he would die to the thumper, but just survives. And the pods are there, which is nice. So yeah, pod drops are really important, just to maintain that momentum. He'd lose so much time now if he had to sit by a hangar.
Build. Yes, sir. Building.
He's going to up his defense a bit. He's lost all his gun towers, so
Guarding. Unit
he's going to
factory
replace them.
Building underway.
Division's edging forward. You can see like he's moving a bit closer now. Each time he's getting a bit deeper every time, which is a sign of things to come, really.
Unit complete.
Offensive unit lost. Offensive unit.
Division's gonna now.
Warning.
Yeah,
Damage.
I think an eject is here.
Unit.
Okay, first eject. Eject number 1 in the space of 3 minutes now.
Unit factory here. Building underway.
This is where things start to fall apart. So his units. It's really interesting. When you're ejected, your units are really in a bad situation, because they play off of you and the follow close and the like the weaving, the ducking and diving and moving around. But when you're ejected, they're really like the effectiveness of them just goes down a lot. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do at this point. But I personally would just call them back. Just call them back to base, even if 1 or 2 die on the way. I'd rather have my units kind of collect together and wait for me, and then I can sort of recover on that. Ian sort of chooses to have him continue to, I think he uses follow close while he's in the air, and then they kind of continue to fight while also retreating, which is pretty good. But yeah, it can really make or break a game when you're ejected and your units are kind of thrown into disarray.
Offensive unit.
And props to DBZ, he's playing this really well. He's just holding his area. He's edging forward when the moment arises,
Yes, sir.
and he's just controlling scrap. So DBZ's playing very well here.
Construction started.
That's kind of why I have him on S tier, because he just knows exactly what to be doing.
Building complete.
As the game ebbs and flows, he plays it very well.
Unit lost.
Armory here.
So he gets in the tank, drops pods, gun tower up,
Damage
Ready to build.
critical.
and now his units are just kind of not really doing anything.
Repair deployed. Ready to build.
Offensive unit
Building supplies.
You want to get back up in the fight, like now. Now he's kind of back in the game again,
Ammo deployed.
and
Build.
unit.
there you go, ejected again.
Unit factory here.
Offensive
Building underway.
unit lost.
Recycler here.
Ejected again.
Construction started. I'm on it. Ready to build.
We're just going to give Division another chance to push even deeper. And you can see Ian is moving back. He's being edged back quite a bit.
Complete. Yes, sir. Who's next?
Scavenger lost.
Standing back. Gauging thrusters.
Scavenger.
You'll notice Division's still in his SP tank. He still hasn't lost it yet.
Stay put. Guarding. Recycler here. Construction
So it's going to come in.
building complete.
Just going to try and
Unit complete.
sort of
Building complete.
stem the flow. Bit of damage control. And his scabs are going back to the base. Let's just see where they are.
Unit lost.
There's something I noticed. Yeah, those scabs are all returning back to base. So a simple control 3-3, like a re-scavenge command would help. You just need to kind of keep track of your scavengers and keep them up on the scrap as much as you can. The minute they get tagged and they retreat, it's really bad. You need to just keep them constantly forward. You can even like have them follow you. Kind of treat them almost like a wingman in the sense that they're just there to pick up scrap.
Recycler here. Construction started. Ready to build. Yes, sir. Building. Armory here.
So there's been nothing. There's been no sort of single huge mistake just yet. But it's the ejects really. The ejects are really messing up his ability to control. But he's holding on. He's holding on well. He's not backing down just yet, which is exactly what you should be doing. Don't give it up. Just keep fighting. All it takes is Division to make one mistake, like to push too hard, overextend, and he can lose his advantage. So you've got to hold on.
Damage critical.
Third eject now. So eject number 3 in 3 minutes.
Guarding. Recycler here. Construction started.
Units on follow. Bring them back. Good. But there's still.
Offensive
Yeah, that's one.
unit
Very well,
lost.
Fireman.
Scavs are exposed. If Division wanted to now, he could push through and take out all those scavengers, get the silo, get his offensives, maybe even get the pilot as well, get the life off him.
Guarding. Yes,
But he
sir.
chooses to sort of stay passive,
Recycler here. Construction
just like hold on to his lead, hold on to his advantage, just keep it safe.
Unit factory here. Building underway. Ready to build. Yes, sir. No can do.
Scavenger lost.
Unit complete.
And yeah, he's not paying attention here.
Scavenger
DBZ is paying attention,
Guarding.
but the thump is good. Now, this is a good moment. Thumper out, and nice and easy eject. Needs to be doing that a lot more. And I don't know if you saw that, but DBZ's player gets ejected. Really bad, really awkward eject.
Guarding.
Watch DBZ on the eject here. There, he's been sent southeast, and as you can probably see, southeast is Grizzly One's territory. What I would do if I was Ian now is, it's going to be quite hard, but try and get the player, like just pull off of that fight and try to get units on the ejected player. Try and find him just sort of southeast, because when you lose a life, you lose so much time and control in the game. You have to get back and this is a window where Ian could use to collect, like, to get on the scrap. Go kill DBZ, ignore his offensives, go to the scrap field with your offensives, and then just get a silo down, scouts on the silo, and you can accumulate like 40 scrap in like 1 minute. So that would have been the ideal thing to do. It's just one of those mistakes here where they sort of accumulate over time and it ends up causing you to lose. But the thump and eject was brilliant. So like, when someone's in an SP tank, if you just thump them and it's a good thump, it doesn't matter if they got SP, they're going to get ejected. So yeah, thumper for the win. And I think a 4th eject in 4 minutes, maybe 3 or 4, losing count. But yeah, too many ejects. And so at this moment in time, DBZ is somewhere back here on the screen. He's somewhere, I think he's somewhere around here. He's probably hopping back to base. So that's a huge moment, there's a huge window for Ian to do something, but he gets ejected. So he loses that advantage. It doesn't matter that it doesn't matter that Grizzly 1's ejected. Oh fucking hell. It doesn't matter that Division's ejected. The fact that Grizzly 1 is too completely neutralizes that situation. Both players cannot make a play, but DBZ's AI ejects him and just makes life difficult for him.
Building complete.
Offensive unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
Protecting the flock. Unit complete. Yes,
You really want to be like staying alive in your tank and just DMing the AI.
moving out.
So yeah, he's back now. I think he's in a bomber. How clean this is. Bombers are really easy to DM because they have such a huge hitbox and they move like shit, so they're very easy to DM. And the quicker you can get rid of a bomber, the less damage it's going to do, which is nice. DMing well. Keep dropping those nabs. Keep denying the wolf. And let's sort of just analyze the numbers here. So Ian's got 15 scraps, 7 pilots, I think like 1 or 2 offensives, like looks like 2 or 3 scavengers, and a silo kind of close. And so this is a really crucial moment. This is a moment where he needs to be locking down the scrap before before DBZ comes back with a big push. But as of what he does instead is he just sort of pushes in solo and tries to just hit and run, do as much damage as he can, and then gets out of there. What you should be doing is getting the silo up. Like, if I just use my mouse now to point, if you see my mouse, you want to get the silo like here, scabs on it, get the offensives in, just lock down from here, lock down this line, because DBZ's put the scrap really deep. This is a common reason how like really good players will still lose games, because they just get a little bit too over aggressive, or the AI just goes a little bit too deep, and you end up dropping that scrap a bit too close. Ian can get on it, take it, and then DBZ is going to be on the back foot. But instead, unfortunately, Ian chooses to do this. Yeah. It's not terrible, but it just don't need to do it. It's not necessary. So there you go. A 5th eject now, number 5. And what does he get? He gets, I think, 2 bomber kills. He kills 2 bombers, 2 AI, and he kills a howitzer, which is scrap that DBZ is going to recover. And additionally, he's just lost his tank. So Ian just got ejected. That's 10 scrap, like collective 10 scrap, with the 2 times multiplier. That's 10 scrap that DBZ is going to recover, which is like a full tank. And it's scrap that Grizzly 1 is effectively giving away for free. There's no need to destroy his howitzers. You can simply get yours up and get his, or just ignore them. Like, you don't really need to kill them. You can continue to make silos, replace silo, and just collect the scrap while the howitzers are still shelling. That does work. And obviously with the eject now, it's a lot of time and resources that he's given away. Now this is kind of the point now where the game's over. Sadly, it's kind of like GG from this point now. Just read my notes. Yeah, look how much time Ian loses now. He had a chance to lock down the scrap, and instead he's going to hop back to his factory, getting an APC. Or is it a tank he gets in? I'm not sure. Let's see. I mean, right now, DBZ's having a field day. Like, all the scrap's his now. He's just eating it up, wiping out the scabs. Right now, Ian needs to be there fighting. He needs to be right now fighting, but he's because he got ejected, he can't. So this is a crucial moment right now playing out. Scav's going down. Everything's getting howied. He's only got 2 units to stem the flow. DBZ playing smart here. He's bringing his units back because he's done enough, and he's just gonna, like, you know, minimize the loss. Now, even though he loses a tank, doesn't really matter because he's pulled the tank back far enough now that he can sort of control that drop scrap. If he let that tank continue, it would have just died to a gun tower. It would have been easy recovery. So it's good anyway. Even if he loses the unit, it doesn't matter too much because he's already got, it's like 4 or 5 there. He's got SP still. He's got a single SP there, which is nice. Shredding the scav's good. But as you can see at this point now, it's kind of too late. It's too little too late. And DBZ already has it. All he has to do now is just not make a mistake, and DBZ has the game. Coming in for a 6th eject now, I think. Yeah. So that's 6 ejects, and DBZ got, I think, what, 1 eject? The thump. So 6-1 ejects. Eject is a very good, like, determining factor for how a game goes. Like, the more someone gets ejected, the more likely they are to lose. Obviously not every time, but in terms of what number you can look at to determine who's going to win, I'd say ejects is a pretty good indicator of how things are going. Which is why it's like my #1 priority not to be ejected. That's like, when I'm playing a game, that's all I'm focused on. Do not get ejected, just because you lose so much control. Everything gets thrown into disarray. You can't do any damage. You can't DM. Your units are just gonna die. Scavs are gonna die, and it's an invitation to your opponent to push deep. Like, it's a free ticket just to go in and push and see how much damage you can do and get out of there. Scav's going down like flies. He's only got 2. He's in an APC. He's still got gun towers, but remember DBZ has howitzers, so howitzers just clear gun towers so fast. I'd much rather invest my scrap and time into a howitzer than into a gun tower. And there you go. Scrap's being taken in. DBZ is sitting on the scrap now. Ian's going to try it, but it's just not going to work. And so we can just sort of try and keep this video down to a reasonable time by just flicking through. He tries some snipes. Not too far off there actually, in case you're wondering. That was pretty close to a hit. Let's have a look at that again. That's close. That's also pretty close. So yeah, in case you're wondering how you did on those shots, they were pretty close. Yeah. So things looking pretty disastrous now. 8 scrap, 2 pilots, 2 scavs. Well, no, 4 scavs even. DBZ right outside, so at this point now the game is over. DBZ could just push, and it's over. But he's going to play methodical and carefully. He's just not going to throw away his lead. APC out, because of course, why not? When in doubt, APC. Turrets up because, you know, what have you got left? And yeah, there's too much there. It's just too much. You can't hold that back. So well, I think that's like 10 units now almost, so yeah, it's over. So yeah, I'm not trying to criticize or anything. It's all very good play. It's just some small little hiccups here and there. And you know, I spoke to Ian afterwards, and he sort of knows where he went wrong. He understands what he did. So it's just a means to, I guess, kind of just put this on a permanent record, so anyone can just sort of check this and just sort of remember what happened and how to improve, I suppose. So yeah, what's my summary? Yeah, Crisis makes a salient point for once. I don't know if he's in the chat somewhere. I'm just gonna point this out eventually when he says it. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. So Crisis is coming in with the smart point there, the salient point. He says he just needs an opportunity to eject him. That is very true. 6 ejects to 1. It may have paid off for you just to sort of try and isolate DBZ and eject him. That might have worked, and then at that point you can then take out his units. So yeah, summary here. Need to make a better use of the time when Division's backed off. So there was that pivotal moment when Ian had his tank and he just pushed up to the howitzer line and just kept shooting. Could he use that just to come back and take the scrap and then try to build a recovery from there? Because DBZ was kind of down as well at that point. He was down on units too, so that could have been a good time. I'm curious to know if Division can, if he watches this, if he can sort of say how he was doing in that situation. If I can flick through. Where was it? That was it, I think. Yeah, I don't know if Division can sort of remember at this point in the game, so there's like 14 minutes into the game, 15 minutes in, when Ian wiped out the units up front, and then rather than just hold now, just hold, don't aggress that, let it retreat. He's got what, 2 or 3 units, let him go back. You've got scabs on the field, there's an offensive unit behind you, you can switch into that unit because this unit's pretty beaten up. Get a silo. Very quickly your scabs will take up that scrap. So within a matter of seconds you'll get like 10-20 scrap in. Crank out the units, 6-1, 5-5, get them up to the front, and then rebuild from there. So it'd be interesting to know from Division what his scrap situation was like here, because this is a really pivotal moment, and his scabs have to travel quite far to get the scrap. His silo, you can see his silo is back there. That's like what, 300 meters, 400 meters of travel to get to scrap. And for Ian, it's 100 meters from that silo, and he can make one right on top of it there. So yeah, that was game 1. I don't think there's much else to really say. Yeah, that's pretty much the game. That was it. Okay. So we'll jump over to game 2 now.